Hi, my name is Michael Spencer. The purpose of this video is to show you the power of planning with Wise Pace. This is just the tip of the iceberg of what we have to offer, but it at least gives you a visual to see how your decisions can affect you over the long term. Now, a good plan is flexible, so let's dive in to see what that means.
Let's pretend that you are John and Jane Smith, and you have come to me because you have recently gotten married and would like to start to plan for your future. Currently, if your only goal was to retire comfortably, you would have a 94% success probability of it happening. Now, in our previous conversations, you shared with me additional goals that you would like to have happen. They are own a home, have 2 kids. While you would love to have kids, you're not quite ready for it yet, and that's completely okay. You would also like to be able to provide for college and retire comfortably. Ideally, living in the city would be best because you absolutely love it down there, and you would also like to have the ability to be a stay-at-home mom just in case it's needed or if you feel compelled to do so. So let's throw those additional goals into this situation and see how that changes our probability of success. As you can see, it gives us a 0% probability of success. Now, that's a little scary at first because it's not like you're asking for a whole lot. All you're asking for is to have a home, 2 kids, pay for college, and retire comfortably. That's not a lot to ask for, especially in living in America. And so let's take a deep dive into figuring out why this might be the issue. The gray represented here is what your situation would have looked like had we not included the additional goals. With the additional goals, this blue here represents what your current situation is. Keep in mind, this current situation is your ideal picture, which is living in the city and having the ability to be a stay-at-home mom. So let's make some changes and some tweaks to see if we can start to change our probability of success. So let's put mom back to work. This might be 4 or 5 years later when it gets to a point that the children are now going to school and you feel comfortable where the mother can go back to work. This changes the situation somewhat, but not nearly enough. So let's also remove private school. The reason you were paying for private school was because the children were living in the city, and unfortunately the public schools were not very good. Now that makes a big difference, but it still doesn't get us there. We're still going to run out of money at age 88 when we need to get to age 100. So we need to remove or add something else out of this equation. Now I'm going to select the second child. Don't worry, the second child isn't going anywhere. We are just doing this to simulate a reduction of expenses. In this case, it will be $10,000 annually, which is less than $1,000 a month. Now, if we make this change, this looks like it gets us to exactly where we want to be. We have money that is going to take us well into our retirement age and up to age 100 with still some money left over. So let's stress test this and see what our probability of success is for this. As you can see, the changes that we made brought us to a 78% probability of success. This is drastically better than the 0% that we had before. By just making a few changes, we were able to get to where we want to go. Do you remember when we reduced our expenses by $10,000? I want to show you the difference of probability of success by making that change. So if we add this back into the situation, we go from 78% to 22%. So by just decreasing our expenses by $10,000 per year, less than $1,000 per month, we increase our probability of success from 22% to 78%. Now I know 78% is not a 100% or a 90%, but if you remember in school, a 78 is a C, and C's get degrees. So this is probably something that you would feel comfortable with moving forward on.
It's crazy to think that the difference between making goals or not making them can come down to only a few decisions. To sum it up, if you don't have a plan, then how do you know you're going in the right direction? If you would like to learn more, or if you're ready to start planning, click the link below to schedule a 15-minute call. Don't worry, it is completely free. It is just to continue the conversation. We hope to hear from you, and thank you for watching.